What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Abe. This is Eve Online, and we are in our I'm in Null Now What series. Um, and so, once you get to Null, whether it's by use of an interceptor or your general Corvette that you get handed to you when you die with one tritanium, whatever it is that you're flying, and you manage to get yourself out here. Once you're here, what do you do? And this is kind of the age old question for Eve in general, and very much also something that people struggle with, or at least something that I struggled with, and I see other people struggling with when they get to Null, because there's you don't have very much access to a lot of the comforts and securities that you might have in high sec. So, what do you do with your time? How do you get there? Um, Salvaging. So salvaging is, especially if you're an alpha character, it's a good way to make money and be relatively safe about it. So if you join a corporation out in Null, you and everybody else there will, be going about your business, making money as you are able. And one of the ways that many people do that is ratting. And what is ratting? Well, ratting is going and doing combat anomalies and killing pirates. You get bounties, they drop loot, sometimes they have escalations, but long story short, people are doing this all the time, all day, every day. And for the most part, they are not cleaning up all of the wrecks behind them. So they'll go in, they'll clear a site, and they'll move on because they're getting the vast majority of their reward is coming from the bounties of killing pirates and spending, you know, 20 minutes to clear a site, maybe 30 or 40, and then another 20 minutes going in and looting and salvaging everything. It's just not, it's cutting into their ISK per hour, and most people, or many people anyway, will not do it. So if you have a corporation or an alliance, and a lot of people are out ratting, which they likely will be, if you get yourself set up in a destroyer with a bunch of salvagers on it, you can often just connect with someone in the general, if you're in your corp or alliance, be in the standing fleet that they're in, and ask around and say, hey, does anybody need any salvagers? Often people will say, oh yeah, well I'm ratting, and you're welcome to come follow me around. And they'll tell you when they're done with the site. You warp in right before they warp out and go to the next site, and you salvage while they kill stuff. So you don't want to be on grid or in the same little area while they're fighting, because if one thing targets you, you can easily get popped, and that's disappointing. But what you're doing basically is you're just mopping up all of their wrecks. Some of them may even let you loot, and you may get some higher quality materials and components out of it. So what do you want on a salvaging ship? This is my own take. Um, you want salvage tackles if you can, and this adds some expense. You can see the small salvage tackle twos are uh, almost 10 million for the three of them. Actually, it looks like it's about 10 million each, so about 30 million just for these three things, and they help you get have a more productive cycle on your salvagers. Now, you're not going to be able to target, most likely, more than 6 wrecks at a time, so adding more than 6 salvagers may help, may not. I'll leave that up to you. I go with 6, and I have 2 small tractor beams on here. Tractor beams aren't super cheap, especially if you're new. They're about 1 million each. You can see this here. I usually like to throw a medium compact lead acid battery, a cat battery on there, and a micro warp drive. If I've been ratting, often these are the sorts of things that will be in the loot that I'm picking up, and so sometimes I won't go and buy this. I'll just wait, and I'll grab whatever I've got in my sort of my loot bucket. And if you see over here, I've got a station container called unsorted, and that's where I just dump everything, and then I go shuffling and sifting through that looking for stuff. So I get a micro warp drive because a lot of times you're going to need to cross a large quantity or a large gap in space to get to their wrecks. The cat battery allows you to be running as much of this stuff as long as possible. And then personally, I use expanded cargo holds because sometimes there's a lot of loot, and you got to just grab it all and be able to grab it and go. So it's not too terribly expensive. It's about 30 million isk to outfit it this way, and if you don't throw these rigs on here, it's obviously going to be a lot less. You're looking at maybe 2 million, and you're good to go. So let's see, maybe 2 to 3 to 5 million if you take off. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. It's pretty cheap, and each site that you go into, I'm not going to give you an estimate because the values of things that I've been salvaging lately have been decreased, and I'm not sure if they tinkered with that in the game somehow, unintentionally or intentionally. I don't know. But this is one, I wouldn't call it a career, but it's a good way to sort of get yourself started, make some money, and we're talking a few million ISK each site basically. It might be as low as 1 or 2. It might be as high as 6 to 8. It might be even more depending on what kinds of sites they're running. So if you can tag up with somebody or make friends with somebody who is doing a lot of ratting and is on at the same times you are, then that's a decent way to make some money and build into whatever your next ship is going to be, while you skill up and meet people and figure out kind of what's going on. So I'm in Null, now what? You could salvage. That's one option. It's an easy option. It's a cheap option. It's as cheap as you want it to be, really. You can use Tech 1 modules. And as I'm talking about all of this, you might be saying, yeah, but where do I buy, like, where's JITA? Where's the place that I'm going to have to buy all of these things? Well, let's talk about that in the next video. But it's relatively easy and simple, and your corporation and your alliance can help you out. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video, and we'll talk about null space markets and how that all works out. So I'll see you then. Thanks for sticking with me, and yeah, hope you're enjoying these videos.